You always hear about these really crazy fatal car accidents, and these days you hear about texting and driving and to always be careful on the road. And I have friends and friends of friends who have gotten into really serious car accidents, and up until about a year ago, I couldn't really empathize with them. So December of 2012, two friends and myself got in a pretty serious car accident. The driver was completely sober. My friend and I, who were not driving, had had a few drinks, but were nowhere near a level of complete total intoxication. So I was sitting in the back seat. My other friend was the passenger seat, and me, being just the way I am, I always never thought to put my seatbelt on when I was in the back seat. It was just kind of a habit. When I got in the back seat, I always thought, oh, I don't need to put my seatbelt on. Always, as a driver and a passenger, I would put it on, but in the back seat, I just never felt the need to. So on this particular night, we were approaching a light in the far left lane, and there was a car in the middle lane. So the left lane had the option of either going straight or taking a left, and the middle lane had only the option of going straight. On this night, the car in the middle lane decided that they wanted to take a left. So as we were going straight, they T-boned us. We went up on an embankment and hit a pole. All I remember about this was that I was looking down at my phone, texting my girlfriend, and the next thing I know, I'm being tossed back and forth in the back seat. My head getting banged up against the door and then back onto the other side of the door. And all I remember was thinking is, when is this going to be over? When am I going to be okay? Are we going to make this through? And I remember it was probably the longest 20 seconds of my life. I felt like it wasn't going to stop. Finally, it did. It ended with this huge bang, and we hit a concrete pole. As soon as we hit and we came to a stop, my friend who was driving, the first thing he said was, "Is everybody okay?" I remember I had a bloody nose and I felt a little bruised, but we were totally fine. My friend in the passenger seat was fine. Thankfully, they both had their seatbelts on. We get out of the car. Of course, the police show up. They did their questioning. We had our friends come pick us up because, of course, my friend's car, who was involved in the car accident, was completely totaled and they had to tow it. So our friends picked us up. We went home. We didn't really talk much about it. We were all really shooken up. I remember I shed a few tears just because I was pretty traumatized by the whole experience. And we all went home, kind of avoided conversation. And then the next morning, we all came together and kind of talked about what happened, what went on. And my friend who was in the passenger seat um, told us that he actually put his seatbelt on about a minute before the car accident happened. And, after the police reports, we discovered that the way that the car hit, had he not had his seatbelt on, he would have flown completely through the windshield. They also let us know that if the car had hit just a little bit later, he would have hit me directly in the back seat. And I had no seatbelt on, basically inferring that I was very lucky, and my friend in the passenger seat was also extremely lucky for having put his seatbelt on just a minute before the accident. Uh, Finding all of this information out, I kind of put things into perspective. We got extremely lucky, and things could have turned out extremely different that day. And now every time I get into a car, the first thing I do is put my seatbelt on and make sure that everybody else has their seatbelt on, especially in the back seat after being through that, being thrown around. It's become a habit. And after this accident and this experience, I really, every time I get into a car, I have a new perspective and a new way of thinking because I know that anything could happen. And after that accident, it just really changed my outlook on just the little things, just having your seatbelt on and making sure everybody else does. And that accident really changed my outlook on just a simple car ride.